Harrison Burton pulled it off and won the Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona International Speedway in overtime. Harrison may have lost his job in 2025, but he now has his first career NASCAR Cup Series victory. But at the same time, he also made some enemies. For example, Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch. They weren't too happy after the race. Despite losing his job, Harrison Burton is not giving up. He's not sure where he'll go next season. But wherever he goes, he will have his Cup Series victory at Daytona with him. Burton defeated Kyle Busch in overtime. Jeffrey Burton is in tears. This is a fantastic night for the Burton family, one of the greatest in NASCAR. Say anything you want about the win and the system. Be upset at the double standard between folks cheering for Harrison Burton and the outrage against Austin Dillon at Richmond. Burton did it clean, did not harm anyone, was patient, and was rewarded in the end. A shout out to Kyle Busch as well. He hasn't won any races this season. He hopes to win one to make the playoffs and extend his yearly victory streak to 20 years in a row. But he did not. Busch raced Burton straight up and finished in the top 5 again. This was a terrific Daytona race. This time around, no one will complain about conserving fuel. There were enough wrecks and drama, both good and bad, to make this an exciting race for spectators both on the track and at home. The middle of Stage 2 saw what may have been the largest crash of the race. Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and several were taken out in the crash, which appeared to include half or more of the field. That crash would only be a harbinger of what was to come. The last stage would be quite crazy. However, the Stage 2 collision had a significant impact on how the remainder of the race unfolded. Credit to the field for all of today's 3-wide racing. There were times when the field was conserving gasoline, but they never allowed it become dull. Drivers were still battling for track position, attempting to push their line ahead of the others while keeping their fuel usage under control. In the last stage of this race, we witnessed 2 cars jump into the air, but only one totally flipped over. There were many crashes to end the race. Austin Cindric was at the center of 2 of these occurrences. One, he created by forcing Michael McDowell into an accident in front of the field, nearly toppling him over. Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, and other drivers were hit as a result of the crash. Cindric quickly became the one who went sideways and wrecked others. The 2 cars collided with Josh Berry, throwing him over onto his roof. Berry collided heavily into the wall and spun like a top before coming to a rest. He flashed a thumbs up after exiting the automobile and departed the care facility without incident. Each crash brought Harrison Burton one step closer. It helped him to advance a couple more positions. Parker Retzlaff, of all persons, gave Burton the push he needed to overtake Busch and win the race. Burton maintained the wheel stable and delivered a great block despite Kyle Busch's relentless pressure. It would be just what he needed to hold off Rowdy and win his first career Cup Series race. Thus, Kyle Busch departed Daytona with unanswered questions. Another tough loss for the 2-time NASCAR champion. Between Atlanta last year and Daytona this year, Busch has come so close to winning at the superspeedways, but has yet to do it. Christopher Bell, Kyle Busch's old Joe Gibbs racing colleague, was pushing him. Those are 2 outstanding drivers working together to cross the finish line. On the outside, you have the youthful, inexperienced combination of Harrison Burton. Not a win between them in the Cup Series, and less than 3 full seasons. Retzlaff competed in his maiden Daytona Cup Series event. He also happened to be driving a vehicle associated with Richard Childress Racing. On the backstretch, Retzlaff gave Burton a huge push. It pushed the 21 car ahead of Busch, and Retzlaff failed to clear the 8 vehicle. From there, Burton blocked Busch and raced to the finish line. The 62 car was unable to maintain momentum on the outside line, dropping to 7th overall. However, Kyle Busch is not blaming the 21-year-old racer for his defeat, even if he was upset at the end. It's just frustrating. We've led races here at Daytona going into the last restart and haven't been able to pull off a victory, Busch said, via Dustin Long of NBC Sports. Not sure what it is, what I'm doing wrong, or what it is that I'm missing. It seems like the energy broke up off of turn 2 and the num 20, Christopher Bell, got crooked and wasn't on my rear bumper the way we needed to be. The outside lane just went by. I wanted to get up in front of the number 21, Harrison Burton, because I knew the momentum was coming there. But I knew the no 20 was a better friend. It just didn't work out. Kyle Busch did everything he could. He even gave Burton a nudge in the front. It was not enough. Short of destroying the 23-year-old driver, Busch had to accept the result. You may point your finger at Parker Retzlaff all you want. It was not his responsibility when he joined up for this race to ensure Busch won. His task was to place the Beard Motorsports 62 Chevy in the lead with a few laps to go and then roll the dice. He did exactly that. Any driver would have done the same. Kyle Busch should not be in a situation where he needs a Daytona victory to enter the playoffs. However, that is where the Richard Childress Racing Team is at. Kyle Busch wasn't the only one frustrated, as his situation is the same as Bubba Wallace. If Bubba Wallace didn't win Saturday's Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona International Speedway, the best-case scenario would have been a driver already in the playoffs making his way to victory lane. The best-case situation suddenly became the worst-case scenario on the final lap, as Harrison Burton beat Kyle Busch and Christopher Bell to win his first race of the season. Burton was 34th in the point standings before into Saturday's race, but he is now in the playoffs. Wallace, on the other hand, is currently 21 points below the playoff cut line heading into next Sunday's regular season finale at Darlington Raceway. Wallace finished 6th at Daytona, but it was not on his mind after the race. Wallace, who is angry, told NBC Sports that his performance this season has been unacceptable in comparison to 23 Talsman Racing teammate Tyler Reddick. Reddick is notably competing for the regular season points championship. Got one car fighting for a regular season championship and another on the bubble. It's unacceptable, Wallace said. I'll take all that weight on my shoulders. I should have won multiple times and I haven't. We don't even deserve to be here and we aren't. Gotta go win, that's it. Wallace had a quick car at Daytona, maybe capable of claiming the checkered flag. He led 16 laps, but was caught at the wrong place and time. Wallace was involved in the big one on lap 151, which took out Reddick, Joey Logano, and Michael McDowell, among others. Wallace is virtually in a must-win position at Darlington, a track that has recently favored him. He has 4 straight top 10s at the Lady in Black, including a 7th place finish in May. And while on the subject of someone taken out, Joey Logano was not pleased with NASCAR following 2 accidents in the closing 10 laps of Saturday's Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona International Speedway. Both collisions included cars soaring through the air. With 9 laps remaining, Michael McDowell slammed into Logano's front end after making contact with Austin Cindric. A few laps later, Josh Berry turned over on the backstretch and collided with the wall. Logano, speaking with NBC Sports, criticized NASCAR for their failure to get the cars on the ground. It's hard to say exactly how it started, Logano said. I'm assuming he got pushed into the corner and just came right across in front of me and just nothing you can do. It's the end of a speedway race and you're trying to position yourself in the best place you can for a wreck. It always starts in the lead, and you just saw another one there with Josh Berry, which I hope he's okay. I think he's okay. Gotta figure out how to get the cars on the ground. We're not doing too good on that part, so hopefully we can figure out how to do that better. Following Corey LaJoie's terrifying flip at Michigan on Monday, the issue of cars flipping and flying into the air dominated NASCAR this week. The governing body required a new right-side rear window air deflector for Daytona, with the belief that it would keep cars from turning over. As shown Saturday night, it didn't function perfectly. What's your thoughts on that? Are the drivers right to be critical? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.